Details of the vicious bot campaign orchestrated against William and Catherine, the true nature of the downgrade of Harry and Meghan in the royal family website, William stopping to take a well-timed selfie, and a surprising joint engagement with the Princess Royal and the Duchess of Edinburgh. This and more on today's show. Hello and welcome back, my Royal Rogues. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Royal Rogue. And we have to talk about the revelation from Dan Wootton, who must know how things work at The Sun. Astonishing details behind The Sun's picture of Catherine. I'm told a member of the public sold it to the agency Southwest News. The Sun paid over £200,000 in a deal signed off by CEO Rebecca Brooks. Kensington Palace likely agreed not to complain. And regarding that last line, Kensington Palace likely agreed not to complain, we have to debunk the fact that this implies that Kensington Palace green-lighted this. One thing might be agreeing not to complain, and another really different would be not to be against it. Because what would be the other option for Kensington Palace? Take The Sun to court for a video that's going to leak into the public either way? I don't think so. That is too much of a hassle. So, in other words, it's not that this was planned by Kensington Palace or even green-lighted by Kensington Palace. It's important to make that distinction. They just agreed not to complain about this. But what I want to point out is a £200,000 deal, which is a lot. And by the way, Wootton also confirmed that the Daily Mail bid £140,000 for the video. And when they lost the bid, they still published it on the front page with The Sun's watermark and all. So, you can imagine, what are they going to gain from this, and how angry could have been all the media in the world from William and Catherine releasing that photo on Mother's Day without the middleman, without any of these sites and newspapers earning one penny. No exclusives. Just release it out in the wild. Can you imagine how angry they got? So this is some sort of a payback. But who can blame them? Catherine has become a global phenomenon. She already had the influence. She already was one of the most public persons in the world. But after what has happened in the last couple months, and not to mention the last couple weeks, it was not surprising that she was trending on Twitter at levels that are hard to imagine. Of course, this has to do not only with the people that support her, but also with the haters and trolls that want to take the monarchy down and want to create all these stories about her, about William, about the royal family. And I must say, trolls and haters can get really, really creative about this. Even in the face of evidence such as the metadata of the video in question, the status was taken on the location at the time stated. But this has been the most vicious campaign of misinformation that I have seen in some time. And hands down is the worst misinformation campaign that I have seen about the royal family. I mean, the amount of bots that have been hired, who knows by whom, to spread the misinformation that this is not Catherine is baffling. Because I don't need to tell you that this is Catherine. You can see it for yourself. And I don't know, the people that say things like, oh, this is not her body language. Oh, that doesn't look like her. Go get your eyes checked. Because I know William and Catherine's body language. I have analyzed hundreds of videos of them. And yeah, this is the real deal. Now, all these claims that this is not Catherine are based off images that people have created of her with an artificial intelligence upscaler. I have talked about these apps in the past, and I've already said that they just don't work. They are phony. They are misleading. And if you either use them or believe that what they do, you are a fool as well. It's that simple. They are misleading. Because how do these artificial intelligence images work? They fill in pixels that do not exist. They make a guess of what is below a pixelated picture. They in no way will care about what is the identity of the person in the photo. And as such, they will make up facial features. It's like these images shared by Sartorial Cyber on X. You have a pixelated picture of obviously Barack Obama, and when you run it through these apps, the output is a completely different person. When you make up facial features, you will end up with a different person. In other words, when you apply them to videos of William and Catherine, such as in this case, you are going to get a different person. So, I'm going to tell you this, and I'm willing to say this as many times as it's needed. Every time you see someone claiming, oh, I removed the blur, or I upscaled the photo, or I added details with artificial intelligence, or oh, I used artificial intelligence for this or that, that doesn't work. Artificial intelligence is great to make memes like my memes of Meghan and Harry. That is one thing that works very nice, but it's obvious that we are talking about things that do not exist, things that are made up. And by the way, all the Sausage Squad members who claim that I use artificial intelligence for misinformation, no, I don't use artificial intelligence to enhance reality. I use artificial intelligence for memes, for things that actually do not exist. And if you actually believe that my memes are images from real life, you should pay a hefty price for your naivete. No one can save you. And sadly, this is something that I told you on yesterday's show. We reached a point that it doesn't matter if Catherine had edited or not that Mother's Day photo. That doesn't matter. People were going to make up their own conspiracies about them, and even in the face of a video who undoubtedly are William and Catherine. People were going to keep making worse conspiracies this time. That they are using a double, that this is a clone. This is all nonsense. And it became worse. And sadly, this is something that I know how it works. Mass misinformation. And I try to do my best to debunk said misinformation. And let's say that it has been one of the additional perks of watching my show, but this is the harsh reality. Some people could have Catherine in front of them, shaking their hand and saying hello, and they would say, nah, this is the cheapest rubber mask I have ever seen. Even the hair looks fake. It's not her. I'm sure she's been replaced by a double months ago. And this is no joke. This is the sad reality of post-truth and misinformation. And thanks to Windsor Debs for the heads up about one of the details that haters are using to claim this video was not recent. So I can confirm, live from Windsor Farm Shop, that the pots are still here and so are the lights decorations. I commented to staff I thought it'd be busy due to our famous guests. They just laughed. But what else? And the problem is that these people are not only delusional, but that they are experts at crafting the mental gymnastics required to push these narratives not only about William and Catherine, but also about Meghan and Harry, as Demetra Autumn says. Not the Sausage Squad saying that the new Brave Join sausage page with 500 words in total instead of the original 8,000 is actually the king showing that he wants Harry back. And it was an olive branch to the sausages and a blow to William. There is no cure for stupidity. Yeah, as I'm telling you, some people cannot be saved. And regarding that downgrade of Meghan and Harry in the website of the royal family, they are in fact never mentioned by their names, Harry or Meghan. And they are never mentioned by Prince Harry, by the way. Only Duke and Duchess. And this is done for two reasons. This is a psychological trick. And yes, Buckingham Palace is sending a message with this. The king is sending a message with this. If it said Harry or Meghan, it would be most intimate word related to any given person. The name. It would be familiar. It would be warm. It will project closeness because you are calling people by their names, Harry and Meghan. So Buckingham Palace is making sure not to call them by their names to establish that separation. To establish that they are overseas and they have nothing to do with the royal family or the firm or the monarchy. So this is one of the best ways to stop all those repeated claims from the mainstream media that the king wants Harry back, that Harry at some point will be called back into the fold, that Harry's gonna be 50% royal again, with Meghan, of course. No, that's not gonna happen. And this is the loudest clue that Buckingham Palace wants to keep their distance with whatever the Harkles are doing. Even if the royal family website has a link to Sussex.com. Again, the link is a way to conceal or balance the fact that they downgraded 8,000 words into 500. So if you want to read more about the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, you'd better click on that link. But there is another theory about why Meghan is not mentioned by name in the Royal UK website by user SnapPopCrackle on Reddit. Part of my work involves SEO copywriting, and people have noted that neither Meghan Markle nor Prince Harry were mentioned as these names on their new bio. I truly believe this was done on purpose so that if you Google their names, the royal family website won't show up in the search results. The British royal family are severing the connection and erasing them from royal-related searches. So, for example, if someone searches for Meghan Markle on Google, the Royal UK website will not come up in the search results because that name will not appear on the site. And I noticed exactly that doing a search with Google, specifically in the Royal UK website, and I have confirmed this, that most pages that used to have Meghan Markle in the title have been either changed or deleted. And in this case, we have an example. One archive page which says, "The wedding of Prince Harry and Miss Meghan Markle." The very first article featured says, "The wedding of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex." I'm sure that all reference to Meghan and Harry will be removed soon enough. And if you don't want to believe that some pages have been deleted, I'm going to prove it. On Google, we still have pages that say Prince Harry and Miss Meghan Markle announcement, or Prince Harry and Miss Meghan Markle's wedding rings. And when you click on those links do not go to the articles listed on Google. They go to the brand new 500-word page of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. So yes, they have been not only downgraded, but effectively been not so quietly removed. But to be fair, the not so quietly part is thanks to us. But the fact is that Meghan is dropping her own name herself. And take a look at this. Meghan Markle believes the name of her new lifestyle brand, American Riviera Orchard, is perfect and authentic to her, source reveals. As PR experts suggest, Duchess may have left her name off due to plunging popularity in the US. And this article comes with a picture. I'm going to talk about the picture in a minute, but what caught my attention is that Meghan claims on her Sussex.com website that the name American Riviera Orchard is perfect. But why didn't she use her own name instead? But what I immediately noticed was that is a relic from the past, right there on the background. That is the makeup puff that Meghan used to apply the Caucasian skin powder from her white girl days. Whoa. Can you imagine the memories working overtime to remove all traces of biraciality? That almost brings a tear to my left eye. Now, all my experience as a body language and behavior analyst, I haven't stumbled upon with faces like the one Harry is making here. Maybe it was Taco Tuesday, he ate some with refried beans, and he's about to pass a nuclear one. So that's the face of concentration, of power of mind over body, controlling the impending pressure. And as for Meghan, well, she looks confident, I guess. This looks like it was taken from a video. If I get my hands on it, well, I will be glad to analyze it. But now imagine for a second that we see Meghan's face when she realizes this comparison made by, admittedly not on X. TMZ pinned their video of Catherine and William, and it has 5 million views in less than 1 hour. At the same time, the announcement of Meghan's brand, well, it was a bit underwhelming because it's attained only 5,000 views in 3 days. So this is a bit of a distinction of the two most relevant updates of both houses in the past couple days. At this point, I think Meghan and Harry eat directly from the pan. And others who are eating in behalf of the Duchess of Sausages are many of the copycats of her brand on Instagram that are putting in the work, are publishing stories and posts and reels, and have actual products and actual shops already online selling things, engaging with people. Now, who can blame them? If Meghan launches a brand and does nothing about it, and people are eager to buy from Meghan, you're gonna have all these knockoffs from every corner of the internet. But at the same time, how can you have knockoffs if there are no products under the original brand? You can say that you have knockoffs because you have a copy of an original product. But what if there are no original products? If they are not really copying anything? This is not exactly legal, of course, but it shows that when you want to earn the money, you have to act fast. And these people are acting faster than anything that Archwell can keep up. And it's fun to watch. And as for William, he remains unfazed from all the insanity surrounding them, and he was this morning at Sheffield to keep pushing his Homewards initiative to end homelessness in 6 key locations in the UK within 5 years. And there's also a clip with Lee, a fan who wanted to take a selfie, and some royal commentators have mentioned that William and Catherine have embraced what can be considered a sign of the times on social media. People wanting to take selfies with them because why not? That's the single greatest and quickest souvenir that you can have from any given moment, and William, in this case, looks relaxed and happy about it. As for Harry, well, you remember that he made sure to show the world that selfies or interacting with fans was not his thing, right? I mean, this was the moment when he showed his true colors about those peasant activities in which he couldn't even say hi or wave at anyone, or at least give a side eye to his security detail who were reprimanding everyone trying to take a picture. And I could guess that even threatening people to take their cameras and mobile phones, or maybe making them sign an NDA, I don't know. So many things that can happen with Meghan and Harry. Nothing is off the table. It's like the Oprah interview. Nothing is off the table. I would not be surprised that at some point Harry will try to force people into wanting to take selfies with him. He will actively look for those opportunities because someone close to him will tell him that it's important for branding purposes. And can you guess who that is? But what do we have here? The Princess Royal and Duchess of Edinburgh, the ultimate power couple, decided to grace the Korean War veterans with their presence at a reception today. And King Charles had to sit this one out. But fear not, Anne and Sophie were more than happy to take their reins. The dynamic duo arrived at Buckingham Palace looking absolutely fabulous as per usual. Anne rocked a bright blue tunic dress complete with a fancy schmancy brooch, and Sophie opted for a chic satin number with a floral print. The two were all smiles as they chatted up the veterans who were there to celebrate the 70th anniversary of the end of the Korean War. And despite the king's absence, he made sure to add his 2 cents via a message delivered by Anne. Apparently, he was feeling all sorts of disappointed and frustrated about missing out on the shindig, but he was most grateful to Anne and Sophie for holding down the fort. Either way, the king also held a private audience with 4 veterans ahead of the bigger reception. And I must say, well, he looked fine to me. But what do you think? The reception aimed to honor the some 60,000 British and 50,000 Commonwealth servicemen and women who served in the Korean War. And Charles, in his message, was poetic about their selfless courage and steadfast pursuit of peace, which apparently continue to inspire generations. And Anne and Sophie proved that they are not just pretty faces. They are the ultimate power duo who can handle anything thrown their way. And this last topic might not have to do with the royal family, but it has to do with a character that has always been on Her Majesty's or His Majesty's Secret Service. Aaron Taylor Johnson has made a short list, allegedly, to play James Bond, the legendary 007. And maybe he was not one of my top picks, but I'm somewhat okay with this. I think he could pull this off. But so many of you said that your first pick was Henry Cavill, and I agree 100%. He was my first pick as well. But there was all these analysts that said that you need always a younger and younger and younger actor because he's supposed to do this through 8 or 9 years at least, or 3 or 4 movies, in other words. But I still think that Henry Cavill would have done the job in a smashing way. Now, I know that I'm going to be a bit unpopular right now, but I would also vote for Robert Pattinson. The guy might not have the physicality, but he's got that je ne sais quoi. But now, some of you also said that most actors that have incarnated the legendary tuxedo-wearing hero have not been faithful to Ian Fleming's book. So either way, I would like to know, what do you think about this in the comments? My Royal Rogues, my name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Royal Rogue, and remember, much love and bliss.